Ambassador Kim Tae walked slowly into the massive chamber where the Galactic Council met. His black suit looked very plain next to all the strange aliens around him. Some had shiny skin that changed colors. Others had many arms or looked like giant insects. The room was so big that his footsteps echoed as he moved to the center. 47 different alien species sat in their special chairs, all looking down at him. Most of them thought humans were just baby animals who had barely learned to use fire. They had been wrong about that for 30 years, but they still did not know it. Kim Tae placed a simple white folder on the glass table in front of him. The room became very quiet. Even the aliens who were always making noise with their breathing or clicking sounds stopped. The people of Earth are leaving the Galactic Council today. Kim Tae said in a calm voice, "We will not follow your rules anymore." The silence broke like glass. Counselor Vex from the blue planet Altair jumped up with all 6 of his arms waving. "You cannot do this. Humans must follow our laws." Dr. Park Min stepped forward from behind Kim Tae. She was small, but her voice was strong. "We tried to work with you for 30 years. You want to change our bodies and our minds to make us weak and quiet. We will not let you do this." The alien with the metal face, Counselor Zeth, made a sound like laughing. "Silly humans, you need us. Without the council, you are nothing." Minister Lee Dasam, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "We have been fixing your problems for decades. Your ships break down. You call human engineers. Pirates attack your worlds. You hire human soldiers. Your crops die. You use human farming methods. Tell me again who needs who." The chamber erupted into chaos. Aliens were shouting in languages that sounded like birds screaming or metal grinding. Some were hitting their desks with their hands, claws, or tentacles. Chairman Cole, the oldest member of the council, raised his massive head. He looked like a turtle but was the size of a small building. "Humans, you forget your place. We found you playing in dirt. We gave you space travel. We taught you about other worlds." Kim Tae smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "You taught us your language so we could understand your orders. You gave us old technology so we could fix your machines. You brought us into space so we could fight your wars. But we learned much more than you wanted us to learn." He opened the white folder and pulled out a thick stack of papers. "These are copies of every project humans have worked on for the Council. Military operations you were too afraid to handle. Engineering problems your best scientists could not solve. Diplomatic missions to worlds too dangerous for your people." The papers scattered across the glass table. Each page showed pictures and reported humans doing jobs that the aliens had claimed were impossible. The prison planet where you keep the hive mind? Human engineers built those walls. The defense systems protecting your home worlds? Human programmers wrote that code. The medical equipment in your hospitals? Human doctors designed them. Dr. Parkman walked around the table as she spoke. "Take away human knowledge, and half your civilization stops working." Counselor Yith, who looked like a floating jellyfish made of light, pulsed different colors rapidly. This meant she was very upset. "You are making a terrible mistake. Other species will never accept you without our approval. Other species have been talking to us in secret for years," Minister Lee Dasam said. "They are tired of your rules, too. Many are ready to leave the council and work with Earth instead." The revelation hit the chamber like a bomb. Several aliens started shouting at once, demanding to know which species had been disloyal. Kim Tae raised his hand for silence. "We are not here to destroy the council. We are here to say goodbye. Some of you are good people who try to be fair to humans. We remember this. But the council as a whole has shown us that you will never see us as equals." He picked up his folder and turned toward the exit. Dr. Park Min and Minister Lee Dasam followed him. At the doorway, Kim Tae stopped and looked back at the chaos behind him. "We left detailed instructions for maintaining all human-built systems. They are in your computers now. You have about 6 months before things start breaking down. Use that time wisely." The 3 humans walked out of the chamber. The massive doors closed behind them with a deep sound that seemed to shake the entire space station. In the chamber, the aliens sat in shocked silence. For the first time in 300 years of Council history, a member species had simply walked away. And for the first time, the remaining members began to wonder if they had made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Chairman Cole's ancient voice broke the quiet. How long before the first systems start failing? Nobody wanted to answer that question. Captain Choi J stood at a window of Nexus Station, watching the last human ship disappear into the stars. The ship carried the final group of human workers who had kept the station running for 12 years. Behind him, Station Commander Krivos made clicking sounds with his mouth parts. This meant he was very nervous. "They will come back," Krivos said, but his voice did not sound sure. "This is just a game to make us give them more money." Choi J shook his head and looked at his tablet. The screen showed lists of all the human workers who had left. Engineers, doctors, farmers, teachers, soldiers. They were all gone. "Commander, look at this list. Every human in Council space is going home. All of them." 2 hours later, the first emergency call came in. The voice belonged to Governor Thel on the Farming Planet Series 4. He sounded scared. "Nexus Station, we have a problem. Our crops are turning brown. The soil machines that the humans built stopped working. How we fix them?" Choi J looked at Commander Krivos, who was now making rapid clicking sounds. "Governor, the human engineers who knew those machines left yesterday. We have no one here who understands their technology." More calls started coming in. The mining station on Kepler 7 reported that their digging equipment had shut down. The hospital on Beta Prime could not use their surgery machines. Transport ships across 3 star systems were stranded because their hybrid engines needed human mechanics. On Earth, President Yoon Soo-jin stood in her office in Seoul, watching news report from across the galaxy. Her aide, Administrator Han Ji-woo, placed a stack of papers on her desk. "Madam President, we are getting communication requests from 43 different worlds. They all want to make special trade deals with us." President Yoon picked up one of the papers and read it. "The Altarian Collective wants to buy our medical technology? The same aliens who called us barely civilized last month." "Yes, Madam President. And they're offering to pay 3 times the normal price." President Yoon walked to her window and looked out at the city below. Humans would go about their normal lives, not knowing that across the galaxy, alien civilizations were starting to panic. "Send the same message to all of them," she said. "Earth no longer trades with any member of the Galactic Council. If they want our help, they must leave the Council first." Administrator Han Ji-woo looked surprised. "All of them? Even the ones who were friendly to us?" "All of them. For 30 years, they stood by while the Council treated us like children. Now they can choose the Council or Earth. Not both." The message went out across the galaxy that same day. The reaction was immediate and devastating. On the trading world of Commerce Prime, Market Director Vexdal watched the screens in horror. The numbers were falling fast, very fast. Human traders had pulled all their money out of galactic markets. Human shipping companies had stopped carrying goods between worlds. Human manufacturers had closed their factories on alien planets. "Sir, the entire agriculture sector is collapsing," his assistant reported. 27 worlds depended on human farming techniques. Without human advisors, their crops are failing. What about the mining operations? Worse, human-designed equipment is shutting down across 15 star systems. The companies that knew how to fix them have all returned to Earth. Vexdal stared at the numbers. In just 3 days, the galactic economy had lost 30% of its value, and this was only the beginning. Meanwhile, on the military station orbiting Proxima Centauri, General Keth was having his own crisis. His communication officer, Lieutenant Czar, brought him a report that made his blood run cold. "General, all human military contractors have left. The mercenary companies, the technical support teams, the strategic advisors, gone." General Keth felt a chill run down his spine. "What about our ongoing operations?" "The pirate suppression mission in the Outer Rim has failed. Our ships cannot handle the Void Hunters without human tactical support. The prison world security system is showing warning lights. And, sir..." Lieutenant Czar paused, afraid to continue. "What is it?" "The containment system around the hive mind on Kepler 442b. It was designed entirely by human engineers. Our people do not know how it works. General Keth sat down heavily in his chair. The hive mind was the most dangerous creature in known space. It had destroyed 3 civilizations before being captured and imprisoned. If it escaped, back on Earth, Dr. Park Min sat in her laboratory, reading reports from human citizens who had returned from Council space. Each report told the same story: alien worlds falling apart without human expertise. Her assistant, Dr. Kim Soare, placed another stack of papers on her desk. Doctor, we are getting requests for help from medical facilities across the galaxy. They say people are dying because they cannot use the surgical equipment we designed. Dr. Park Min felt a moment of sadness for the innocent aliens who were suffering. But then she remembered all the times the Council had ignored human protests and treated them like servants. Continue monitoring the situation, she said, but send no help to any Council member. They made their choice. Outside her window, she could see the lights of Seoul glowing in the evening darkness. For the first time in decades, humans were free to make their own choices about their future. The galaxy was learning what that freedom would cost them. Admiral Song Woo-jin was drinking his morning coffee when an emergency alarm started screaming through his office at Earth Defense Command. The red lights flashing on his wall meant something very bad was happening in space. His aide, Commander Naijin, ran into the room holding a tablet with shaking hands. Admiral, we have multiple crisis reports coming in from across the galaxy, she said, trying to catch her breath. The security situation in Council space is falling apart. Song Woo-jin set down his coffee and looked at the tablet screen. What he saw made his stomach feel heavy. Red warning symbols covered a map of the galaxy, like a disease spreading through space. Show me the worst one first, he said. Commander Na Yi-jin touched the screen, and a video message started playing. The face that appeared belonged to Governor Thelnaris from the Outer Rim colonies. The reptilian alien's normally green skin had turned pale yellow, which meant he was terrified. Admiral Song, please, you must help us. Governor Thelnaris begged. The Void Hunters have broken through our defense lines. They destroyed 6 patrol ships in less than an hour. Our remaining forces cannot stop them. The Council's fleet. He paused, looking ashamed. The Council's fleet ran away when the fighting started. Song Woo-jin knew about the Void Hunters. They were pirates who traveled in massive ships and destroyed everything they could not steal. For 20 years, human mercenary companies had kept them trapped in the empty zone, a part of space with no planets worth visiting. Now, with no humans to guard the borders, the Void Hunters were free to attack anyone they wanted. What is our next report? Song Woo-jin asked. Commander Na Yi-jin switched to another message. This one came from Chief Engineer Voxtel on the industrial planet Forge World. The metal-skinned alien was standing in front of machines that were sparking and smoking. The automated defense systems are failing across 17 star systems, Voxtel reported. These machines have protected our worlds for 50 years, but they need constant maintenance. Only human technicians knew how to repair them properly. Without humans, the systems are breaking down one by one. Song Woo-jin rubbed his forehead. Those defense systems protected some of the most important worlds in the galaxy. Without them, entire civilizations would be helpless against attack. Is there more? He asked, though he was afraid of the answer. Commander Na Yi-jin nodded and showed him the most frightening report of all. The message came from Dr. Kelthor, the head scientist at the maximum security prison on Kepler 442b. The insect-like alien's voice was high and panicked. The containment systems around the hive mind are showing critical warnings, Dr. Kelthor said. The bioelectric barriers that keep it asleep were designed by human engineers 50 years ago. We do not understand how they work. The power levels are dropping, and we cannot fix them. Song Woo-jin stood up quickly, knocking over his coffee cup. The hive mind was the most dangerous creature that had ever lived. It could control the thoughts of any living being and turn them into slaves. 3 entire civilizations have been destroyed by hive minds before this last one was captured and put into deep sleep on the prison planet. How long before the containment fails? He asked. Dr. Kelthor estimates 6 weeks, maybe less, Commander Na Yijin replied, "Admiral, if that thing wakes up." Song Wu-jin did not need her to finish the sentence. If the hive mind escaped, it could take control of every alien in the galaxy and use them to build an army. It would be the end of free civilization. More reports kept coming in throughout the day. Pirates were attacking trade ships because the human security companies were gone. Ancient alien weapons were activating because their human-built safety systems had failed. Even the communication networks that connected different worlds were starting to break down without human maintenance. At the same time, desperate messages were arriving at Earth from alien leaders begging for help. General Krivak of the Centauri Defense Force sent a video showing his destroyed ships floating in space. "Admiral Song, I know Earth has left the Council, but innocent people are dying," General Krivak said. "Surely humans will not let the galaxy burn because of politics." Song Wu-jin watched the message 3 times before making his decision. He called a meeting with all the top Earth military leaders. "What are your orders, sir?" Commander Na Yijin asked as they prepared for the meeting. Song Wu-jin looked out his window at the blue sky of Earth. For the first time in 30 years, his planet was truly free from alien control. But that freedom had come with a terrible price for the rest of the galaxy. "We maintain our borders and protect Earth," he said finally. "Council space is not our responsibility anymore." They wanted independence from human interference. Now they have it. But as he spoke those words, Song Wu-jin knew that the galaxy's problems would eventually reach Earth too. The Void Hunters would not stop at Council territory. The failing defense systems protected trade routes that Earth also used. And if the hive mind woke up and took control of billions of aliens, even Earth might not be safe. The aliens had spent 30 years treating humans like useful tools. Now, they were learning what happened when those tools were no longer available to fix their problems. The universe was about to become a much more dangerous place. Director Oh Young-sik was reading reports about crop failures on alien worlds when his communication device started beeping. The caller ID showed a name that surprised him: Counselor Marathane from the Crystal Worlds. This was the same alien who had called humans dangerous primitives just 2 months ago. Oh Young-sik pressed the answer button. Counselor Marathane's crystal face appeared on the screen, but instead of his usual proud expression, he looked desperate. His normally bright blue crystal skin had turned a dull gray color. "Director O, we must talk about the situation like reasonable beings," Marathane said, his voice shaking slightly. "Perhaps the Council was too hasty with our genetic modification requirements. We could discuss changes to policy." Oh Young-sik leaned back in his chair and looked at the alien who had once demanded that humans be forced to become peaceful and obedient. "Counselor, we sent 17 formal complaints about those policies over 5 years. Each time, you voted to ignore us. We are not interested in small changes anymore. But surely we can find some compromise," Marathane pleaded. "The situation in Council space is becoming difficult." Through his office window, Oh Young-sik could see the lights of Seoul at night. His city was peaceful and safe while alien worlds burned. "Counselor, you had 30 years to treat us as equals. You chose not to. This conversation is over." He ended the call and immediately contacted Secretary Bae Soo-min at the Ministry of External Affairs. "Marathane just tried to negotiate with us. How many other calls have we received?" Secretary Bae Soo-min looked tired when she appeared on a screen. 43 separate communications in the past week, Director. The Altarian Collective, the Vegan Trade Union, even the Mechanoid Assembly. They are all trying to make private deals with Earth. What are they offering? Everything we asked for over the past decade, and more. Equal representation in decision-making, access to their advanced technologies, removal of the genetic modification requirements. The Centauri Coalition even offered to make humans the primary decision-makers for all military operations. Oh Young-sik almost laughed. And our response? The same to every one of them. Complete independence from Council authority first. Then we can talk. No exceptions. While they were talking, another priority message came through to Secretary Bae Soo-min's office. She read it quickly and her face became pale. "Director, this is from Admiral Kethvar of the Council Defense Fleet. He says the Void Hunter attacks have spread to 12 star systems. They destroyed a passenger ship with 10,000 civilians yesterday. Oh Young-sik felt a moment of sadness for the innocent people who were dying, but he remembered all the times the Council had ignored human warnings about security problems. And what does Admiral Kethvar want from us? He is offering to put human officers in charge of the entire Council fleet if we will help fight the Void Hunters. The irony was not lost on Oh Young-sik. For decades, the Council had refused to let humans command even small patrol ships, claiming they were too aggressive and untrustworthy. Now, they wanted to put humans in charge of everything. Meanwhile, at the Galactic Council chambers, emergency sessions were running day and night. Chairman Cole, the massive turtle-like leader, was reading reports that made his ancient heart feel heavy. The agricultural crisis is spreading, reported Counselor Yith, the floating jellyfish creature. 14 worlds are facing famine. Their human agricultural advisors were the only ones who understood the soil enhancement systems. What about the industrial sectors? Chairman Cole asked. 23 manufacturing worlds have shut down production. The hybrid technologies that combine human and alien engineering are too complex for our technicians to operate alone. The worst news came from Dr. Kelthor at the prison planet. His insectoid form was shaking as he delivered his report through the communication system. The hive mind containment is failing faster than predicted, he said. We estimate 3 weeks before complete system failure. We have tried everything, but the human-designed bioelectric barriers are beyond our understanding. A terrible silence filled the chamber. Every alien present knew what would happen if the hive mind escaped. It would take control of their thoughts and turn them into slaves. Their free civilizations would end in a matter of days. Counselor Vex from Altair spoke up. Perhaps we could offer the humans full membership equality and voting rights equal to our own. We already tried that, Chairman Cole replied. Their director, Oh Young-sik, said they are not interested in any council membership at all. What about individual species making separate peace with Earth? Asked Counselor Zeth. 17 species have already tried. The humans refuse to deal with any council member, no matter what we offer. As the crisis deepened, some council members began to whisper about things they had never dared to say before. Maybe humans had never been the primitive species they claimed to be. Maybe the council had been dependent on human knowledge and skills without realizing it. The most frightening possibility of all was beginning to dawn on them. What if humans had been the advanced species all along and they had been too proud to see it? Outside the council chambers, the galaxy continued to fall apart, one system at a time. 6 months had passed since Earth walked away from the Galactic Council, and Ambassador Kim Tae stood in a very different kind of meeting hall. Instead of the cold, imposing chamber where aliens had looked down on humans, this new assembly was built in a circle where everyone sat at the same level. Representatives from 37 different worlds filled the seats around him. Some were familiar faces, aliens who had secretly supported human equality for years. Others were new friends, species who had broken away from the Council to join what they now call the Terran Commonwealth. Today we are not here because anyone forced us to come, Kim Tae said to the gathered crowd. We are here because we chose to work together as equals. No one species rules over the others. No one tells another how to live or what to believe. Captain Park Sean sat in the audience, wearing a uniform that would have been impossible under Council rules. Her crew mixed humans with Centaurians, vegans, and even some former Council engineers who had defected to the Commonwealth. Their ship combined the best technology from 5 different species, creating something more powerful than anything the Council had ever built. The old Council said different species should not share technology. Park Seon whispered to her Centaurian co-pilot. They were afraid of what we might create together. Her co-pilot, a tall blue-skinned alien named Vel, smiled. Their fear made them weak. Our cooperation makes us strong. On Earth, President Lee Min-ho watched the Commonwealth Assembly through a video link from his office in Seoul. His science advisor, Dr. Lim Hae-won, sat beside him reviewing reports that would have amazed the old Council leadership. The research projects are exceeding all expectations, Dr. Lim Hae-won reported. When species work together freely instead of following strict rules, innovation happens 3 times faster. The medical advances alone have saved millions of lives across Commonwealth worlds. President Lee Min-ho nodded as he read through the reports. Human doctors working with Altarian healers had cured diseases that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. Human engineers collaborating with mechanoid builders had created space stations that could repair themselves. Human farmers sharing knowledge with plant species aliens had developed crops that could grow on previously barren worlds. What about the economic situation? President Lee Min-ho asked. Commonwealth trade is booming, his economic advisor replied. Without the Council's restrictions on technology sharing and trade routes, our member worlds are more prosperous than ever before. The contrast with the remaining Council worlds was stark. The old Galactic Council still existed, but its membership had shrunk to only 18 species. Their authority had crumbled as world after world chose freedom over control. General Kim Dong-woo, now serving as Commonwealth Defense Coordinator, received regular reports about the Council's ongoing crises. The Void Hunters continued their attacks because the Council's weakened forces could not stop them. The prison planet's containment systems had finally failed completely, forcing the Council to pay enormous fees to Commonwealth military contractors, human-led teams who now charge premium prices for their expertise. The irony is perfect, General Kim Dong-woo told his staff. They spent 30 years refusing to pay humans fair wages for dangerous work. Now they pay us 5 times more because they have no choice. The most satisfying moment came when Chairman Cole, the ancient leader of the old council, sent a private message to Ambassador Kim Tae. The massive turtle-like alien appeared on screen looking older and more tired than ever before. Ambassador Kim, I must speak honestly, Chairman Cole said, his voice barely above a whisper. We may have misjudged humanity's capabilities and contributions to galactic civilization. Kim Tae read the message twice before deleting it without responding. There was nothing left to say to the aliens who had spent decades treating humans as inferior servants. Instead, he focused on the future. The Commonwealth was planning ambitious projects that would have been impossible under Council rule. They were building a new type of space station that combined technologies from 12 different species. They were mapping unexplored regions of the galaxy that the Council had declared too dangerous to visit. Most importantly, they were proving that different species could work together as equals. Dr. Park Min, now serving as Commonwealth Science Director, stood before the Assembly to present her latest discovery. Working together, we have learned that the galaxy is far more diverse and wonderful than the Council ever allowed us to explore. There are species out there who never joined the Council because they feared losing their independence. Now they're eager to join our Commonwealth. As the first Commonwealth Assembly session came to an end, Kim Tae felt a deep satisfaction. Humanity had not sought to dominate other species or build an empire. They had simply demanded to be treated with respect and given the freedom to reach their full potential. The old Galactic Council had been built on the idea that some species were naturally superior to others. The Terran Commonwealth was built on the idea that all species had something valuable to contribute when they worked together freely. Looking around the assembly hall at the faces of beings from dozens of different worlds, Kim Tae knew they had chosen the right path. The galaxy was a bigger, more dangerous, but ultimately more exciting place when everyone was free to be their best selves. The age of human subservience was over. The age of true galactic cooperation had begun.